What would you say is the best way to learn a language in 2026? Is it AI? Is it apps? Is it just moving to the country? Today, I'm answering that question by ranking 15 language learning methods. So welcome to Tandem's channel. My name is Caesar, and before starting ranking these, I want to explain to you a few things. As I explained in my first video for Tandem, I really do believe that you have to find what works better for you, and that will be the best method. But it's good to have tier lists with criteria. So for this video, my criteria for S tier is very simple. If you could only use this one method and nothing else, would it take you to real fluency? And when I say real fluency, I don't mean surviving as a tourist. I mean having a comfortable conversation with a native, being able to sustain a 30 minutes conversation about anything. That's the bar for S. For A is works great but not alone, it needs to be combined with something else. B is useful but it has some limits or it's too specific. C, it's okay. D is technically a C-. It's also okay, but it's massively overrated. And F is when the method fails at the goal it claims. Lastly, this ranking is based on three things. First one is scientific research, where it exists. The second is what the polyglot community has learned over years of experimentation. And third is my own experience actually using these methods. So don't be mad if I rank something that you actually love. This is not a universal truth. If you disagree, just comment down below what you would change in the tier list. So the first one is gamified apps. You probably already thought of some just by hearing that. But first of all, I want you to pay attention to the color. The colors actually have a meaning here. The yellow ones are structured practice methods, basically guided practice and drilling. I will explain each color as soon as we get into them. So this one is for mobile apps that break language learning into short gamified lessons with XP, streaks, and those kind of things. You know, you can think of some. The pros of these methods are that they are cheap or free, and gamification can be awesome to build a daily habit. It's also very good for absolute beginners to start picking up like alphabets, numbers, and basic vocabulary. And the best part is that it's accessible anywhere. You can study on the bus, in line at a coffee shop, and whenever you are. And now the cons. I would say that the worst for me is definitely artificial sentences. When they put sentences like the cat drinks milk. Things that don't really reflect the real language use. It's also pretty rare for it to produce like any speaking ability. You can do some shadowing and try to keep repeating out loud the sentences you are learning, but it's not like actually speaking, you know. I will talk a bit more about that later. It can also create a strong illusion of progress. You feel like you have a 600 days streak and you are learning a lot when you are just stuck in the A1, A2 level. So taking out that in consideration, definitely gamified apps would be a C tier for me. I've tried thousands of these apps for a long time, and don't get me wrong, they can be very useful, mainly in the beginning. For example, I learned the whole katakana and hiragana using one of those apps. But what's the meaning of having a 1,000 days streak when I can't talk to people, or I can't read something, or I can't watch a TV series without subtitles? I think after learning the basic stuff, you can use your studying hours to do something that is more effective. So the second one is AI conversation partner. This is a very interesting one because it's kind of a new one and it's evolving very fast. It's AI voice tools in general. The AI role plays as a native speaker, correct grammar, adjusts to your level, and it's available 24/7. It's infinitely patient, like zero pressure at all. It adjusts to your level in real time. You can make as many mistakes you want. And definitely the best part of this one for me is that you can role play in specific scenarios. So let's say you want to learn a language for a specific reason, like for work, and you can just ask AI to role play like, this is my first day at this work and I want to be in this specific situation. So I want you to roleplay like my boss and I will be doing my normal day job. You know, like it's amazing for that. The first con is that it doesn't have the real human reaction, you know? No confusion, no cultural nuance, no awkward silence. It's also too forgiving. It doesn't push you out of the comfort zone. And it's weird because at least for me, even being so good for some practice, the mental fatigue kicks like very, very fast. It definitely can't replace long human conversations. I use it mostly when I am washing dishes for like 15 to 20 minutes because more than that, it's definitely a no for me. So this is a hard one. I am between A and B because it's like very, very useful. Definitely not alone. I would never be able to learn a language just talking to AI. It would be an A minus, but since I don't have A minus here, I think I will put it on A. It's very good, it's evolving very fast, and it's in a high position mostly because of the role playing thing. It's mind blowing. And I almost forgot to talk about the color. This light blue is the meta method. It's for frameworks that organize other methods, not like techniques themselves. There's only two in this list, which is the AI conversation partner and the language challenges. And oh well, what we have here, the grammar translation, it's the school method. It's the traditional approach, memorizing grammar rules, memorizing vocabulary lists, translating sentences between your native language and the target language. And oh man. The pros are that it builds grammar knowledge. It can be extremely useful if you're trying to pass an exam or doing academic research. And I think that the best part for me is that it can help advanced learners to fix mistakes. Me, for example, I've learned English doing other method that is here, which I will talk later, but since I didn't study grammar, I did some very basic mistakes. I still do some basic mistakes, and this method in specific helped me to fix some of them. So the first con is if you only use this method, it will be very, very hard for you to get to fluency. At least for me, it's like a full stop. It feels like it treats language as a dead object to be decoded and not a living thing to be used. Am I being too philosophical? I hope not. The other thing is that it's very demotivating in the long term. Most students quit without ever speaking. And this explains why entire generations studied English for more than 10 years and still can't speak. Just think about school. You probably had a second language to study there. Did you actually learn it? I definitely didn't. So unfortunately, this will be a F for me. I would say that it could be a D because it helped me to fix some problems that I had, but I don't know, man. Just thinking about it being like, if you only had this method, nah. Okay, so the next one we have here is the comprehensible input. And the color blue is exactly for that. It's input-based methods. So basically receiving the language. And comprehensible input is consuming content in your target language at a level where you understand 80 to 90% of it, without actually translating or studying grammar. The theory is that the brain acquires language naturally through exposure to comprehensible meaning. So what about the pros? First of all, I would say that it's very low pressure and enjoyable. If the content you're using is good, you want to keep going. It also helps you to build intuitive grammar understanding without memorizing rules. You have a massive vocabulary gain over time. It works passively, so you can like listen to something while washing the dishes or driving. And it's also backed by years and years of research. The first con I would say is that it needs thousands of hours to reach fluency. It's not a quick method, if there is any quick methods. This one is definitely not. Beginner level content can be very hard to find for smaller languages. It's very hard to see progress. It's like invisible. You are doing it, but at the same time, you don't see your efforts being paid, if that makes any sense. So it can be demotivating for some learners. I think this one is amazing, but only if you are using it with other methods, you know? I would not only do comprehensible input for my studies. I love the idea of after passing through the beginner level and I can understand a bit more, so I can read a book or start watching content or listen to podcasts and stuff like this. So for me, it definitely stays between A and B, but I think that for personal choice, I will put it on B. And then we come to the next one, which is watching native content, which you can argue that it's basically the same thing as the comprehensible input, and you're not totally wrong, but there is a twist. It's a bit more, and a bit biased to talk about this one because it's the one that I have been doing the most lately. It's the one that I've been enjoying the most. I love to create a new YouTube for the language I am studying, and then I start following like real creators from that language. But I also love to watch like documentaries made from that country in their language. It's like a combo of learning the language at the same time learning about the culture. I love it. And there are some variations of how you can use that. You can do this with subtitles in your native language, with subtitles in the target language, or with no subtitles at all. You can even use some tools that can add like double subtitles. So the pros are exposure to real authentic language as a native speaker would actually use it. Cultural learning is built in. Humor, references, social norms. It's so entertaining. And that means you can do a massive volume without burning out. And what about the cons? So if you are using subtitles in your native language, it can become a trap because your brain reads what it's written and start ignoring the audio. It also requires like some basic vocabulary level. Also, if you only do like passive watching, you have limited returns. As for the ranking, as I said, I am biased to put it because it's something that I'm loving to do. It's like I have other methods that I do more actively, and instead of watching something that I would watch in my native language, I just watch the same kind of content but in the language I am trying to learn. So it's like I'm studying even though I am watching something to entertain myself. And because of that, this is definitely an A for me. And the next one we have is speaking from day one. Purple color means output-based method, like when you are producing the language, real interactions. And speaking from day one, I think it's a very good technique because you can use it with other methods. And it helps you a lot to go through that fear of learning, understanding, but not being able to speak. Let's say, for example, that in the first day of learning a language, you learned how to say your name, where you're from, and etc. If you go for an app and try to practice, like in Tandem, for example, if you try to find a partner and say to that person what you learned, it will be a very, very good way to memorize it and don't forget it anymore. And the pros are that it forces you to overcome that fear of making mistakes very early. It gives you a lot of confidence. It's also very good to have an instant feedback of what you should or not say. For example, when I was learning Spanish for the first time, I was very, very formal. And then I started practicing everything I learned in social parties in Tandem. And people started teaching me how to actually say things in a more casual way. And this is extremely motivating. It breaks the I need to be ready first cycle that everyone gets stuck forever. So the cons are that it can create fossilized errors if you don't have anyone to correct you. And that's also something that Tandem helped me a lot because they have a feature where your partner can correct what you wrote. It can also be very stressful for introverts. You will have to work hard in your vocabulary and you probably feel very ashamed for making lots of mistakes in the beginning. So overall, I like it a lot. I think that even if you are an introvert, you can still try to talk to yourself, just like imagining a situation or try to do it with the AI conversation partner, as we said before. And for me, I would say that it's definitely a B tier. And well, what we have here, spaced repetition. If you are learning languages for a while, you certainly already heard about this before. And this one in specific, I'm gonna talk about the spaced repetition with flashcards, which is flashcards managed by an algorithm that shows each card at the exact moment when you are about to forget it. Difficult cards will appear more often, easy ones less often. I see it more like a memory technique and not like a complete learning method. Okay, so let's go for the pros. It's scientifically proven for long-term memory retention, extremely efficient use of study time. You will reveal only what you are about to forget. There are very good and free tools like Anki, which you also have lots of videos explaining how to use. It's fully customizable. You can build your cards around your content. It also works for any language. The first con is that it can become obsessive. Hours and hours of cards with zero conversation practice. Also, for you to build good cards, it will take you some learning effort. It will require you a lot of discipline to keep going. And even though you'll be learning lots of vocabulary, out of context memorization will not automatically transfer to a real conversation. So this is a very good tool that will help you to remember what you already learned somewhere else. And I think it's a very, very good tool to use as a complement, but I definitely wouldn't do only that. So just because of that, this won't be a S tier for me, but it deserves a solid A. So for the next one, we have move to the country. And the pink color means immersive method. It's when you put the language as a life environment and not a task. And this one in specific, I can say a bit more because I have some experience with that. I actually moved to Argentina and lived there for around a year and a half. And guess what? I didn't learn as much as I thought I would. That's on me though. The pros are, if you do it right, you have a massive daily exposure to the language. Cultural immersion will happen automatically. And the best part for me is that you learn the slangs, accents, the regional variations that no class teaches you. The first con, and the one that made me not learn as much as I wanted, is the bubbles. It's very easy to fall into bubbles of people that speak your native language. Me, for example, I've made more Brazilian friends than Argentinian friends, even living in Buenos Aires. It's very expensive. It doesn't matter which country you're moving to, it will be expensive. It will take a lot effort to adapt and to be in another culture in general. And the immersion will do the work is a myth. It's actually very frustrating when you try to order something and you don't know how to say and you can't be understood. Thank God we have translators today. So I don't think I have much more to say about it. I think I would put it on C, but for being expensive and hard to do, I think I'm gonna put it on D. Okay, so now we have the audio guided learning, which is an audio only method where a guided voice teaches you through spoken prompts with built-in spaced repetition. You hear a phrase, pause, respond out loud, then hear the correction. Sessions are usually 20 to 30 minutes and it works entirely from audio. No screen is required. The pros are, it's perfect for when you are driving, walking, or doing something like that. Trains your pronunciation and your listening from day one. It's a structured progression, so you won't have to plan what you will study. And I also think that it's very, very good for absolute beginners to build a foundation. So the cons are, you won't have reading or writing practice. You will need to complement it with something else. It can feel repetitive or slow for fast learners. And it definitely don't replace speaking with real humans. I've tried some apps that does this before and I used them for a while. I loved how it went, but at the same time I didn't like how I felt like not learning the actual language. It was like learning how to say the book is on the table, you know? So because of that and based mostly on my experience, I would put it on B because this is definitely not something that I would only use this method to learn a language. Okay, now we have shadowing, which is listening to native audio and repeating what the speaker says almost simultaneously, imitating rhythm, intonation, pronunciation, and you can basically use this combined with almost all the other ones here, like when you're doing your spaced repetition when you are saying out loud, or when you're watching your native content, you keep stopping the video and trying to do this shadowing. So it's a very good one to combine with others. The pros are that it trains pronunciation and rhythm in a way no other method does. It will also help you with something very, very important, which is building your mouth muscles memory. And this will make you sound way better in your target language. Now the cons. Mindless repetition without context or comprehension adds almost nothing. It will require you a lot of discipline and focus to do it properly. And if you do it in isolation, you won't have any vocabulary acquisition from it. So definitely for me, if you are doing this alone, I would put it like in C tier, maybe a D tier. But if you are using it combined with something that is actually higher in the list, like the spaced repetition or native content, it goes for a B tier. So having in mind that you will definitely use it with something else, I think I'm gonna put it on B. And then we have here one of my favorite ones and actually the one I use to learn English, language exchange. I'm a bit suspicious to talk about this one because I've tried like learning English for years before and nothing worked for me until I started like talking to real people and it was like a boost of motivation. I couldn't stop like trying to learn the language, to talk to someone and to make friends and to learn about the culture. I got in love of learning languages and started studying it just because of the exchanges I did in the past. And it was only because of that that I met incredible people like one of my best friends and my girlfriend. So what language exchange actually is? It's basically pairing you up with a native speaker of your target language who wants to learn your native language. So the pros are, it's free, you are trading your time, not your money. The best part for me, real human interactions. It's not someone you are paying to be nice to you. Cultural exchange is automatic. You learn about their life, how they live, the music they like, and not only about the language. It can also grow into lasting friendships that will definitely keep you engaged in the long term. So the first con I have is that some partners are amazing and some will ghost you after a week or two. Scheduling is voluntary, so consistency can be a bit harder than when you are paying for a tutor. And lastly, finding a good partner can take some time. But I started doing something that helped me a lot with those cons, which is the social parties in Tandem. And I know you will think that I only saying that because I am in Tandem's channel and I have to say it, but actually no, I only work here because I used it before and I loved it before. And I've made amazing friends from the social parties in Tandem. It's free. So if you still don't believe me, just try it for yourself. The download link is here in the description below. So as I was saying before, the social party feature for me is special because before Tandem, I used to do the language exchange with games, and it was so hard to actually practice speaking and listening. And with Tandem you can literally just create your account, click on parties, and then you will have a list of thousands of people speaking in real time, and you can join them, you can just listen, or you can ask to talk to, and you can talk about anything. I'm sorry for talking so long about this. You definitely already know I'm putting this in S tier. There is no other way. And yeah, let's go for the next one. And the next one is language challenges. It's like when you say, I will study this language 3 hours per day for 30 days and see how far I get. You study because you promised you would. It will force you to daily practice, often like 1 to 2 hours per day. And I really think it's a great motivation boost. The cons are that it's usually unsustainable. The pace of a 30-day challenge usually burns you out. It can also create an unrealistic expectation, and you will also feel very frustrated if for any reason you wasn't able to finish the challenge. So I would say that this is very good in the beginning. If you want to start learning a language, just try to do a small challenge like 15 days studying every day for 1 hour, and then you will get into the mood, you will get into the habit. But trying to do like 40 days challenge, 8 hours per day will drive you crazy. It's also not a method itself, you have to combine it with something else. For example, watching native content for 30 days, or try to learn a language only doing language exchange for 15 days. By the way, I'm actually recording some of these challenges and they will be posted here in this channel, so subscribe to watch it later. So after saying all that, I think it will fit here in C tier. So now we have regular one-on-one lessons with a paid teacher or native speaker. The teacher usually tailors lessons to your weaknesses, corrects you in real time, and will help you with basically everything you need. This is definitely one of the most effective methods, but also one of the most expensive ones. First of all, it will be fully personalized to your weaknesses and your goals. You will have real-time correction of your pronunciation, grammar, and you'll be doing all that with a patient and trained human. But it will be very expensive. Being a native speaker don't automatically make someone a good teacher. And having a bad tutor can be a waste of money and can demotivate you. So I had this experience before and it was very good. It wasn't for a long period of time. It was specifically for an exam that I had to do. So I would say that if you have money to go for it, or if you are preparing for an exam or something specific, just do it. It would be a very good experience. So for me, I would put it in a solid A tier. And almost finishing, we have here the extensive reading, which is reading large volumes of content in the target language at a comfortable level without stopping for every unknown word. It's the opposite of intensive reading. It works better for intermediate learners and up. The pros are massive vocabulary gains in a natural context, improves grammar intuition without explicit rules, can be genuinely pleasurable, like reading novels, articles, stories, and it's excellent for a long-term maintenance of a language you've already learned. The cons are that beginners are stuck. You need a foundation before it starts working well. It also doesn't train listening or speaking at all, only if you are like reading out loud or using like audio together. And it can also be a slow start. It takes time before you can see the gains. This is one of my favorite methods. I love reading and I love like little stories that have the 500 most used words or the 1,000 most used words, and trying to say things out loud, also having like audio with the text will help you a lot. So for me, it's definitely A tier. Okay, so we have here the last one, the pillow method. To be honest with you, I've never heard about this before making the script for this video, but then I noticed that I have been doing that for a few years now. So the pillow method is the half-joking name for learning a language through a romantic relationship with a native speaker. It combines daily immersion, emotional motivation, constant correction, and cultural exposure. It's not actually about the romance. It's actually about what happens when you genuinely connect with someone and it stops feeling like study. So the pros are that you have daily exposure with zero friction. You have emotional motivation to keep the engagement very high. Cultural learning is automatic. Music, food, family. The cons are that you can't actually do it just because you want it. It happens. Also, if the relationship ends, the motivation usually collapses with it. And other problem is that it can happen that you only know how to speak to that person and you don't understand others. But besides the joke about the pillow method being about romance, if it's actually about connection in general, I think it's an S tier. But if you thought the pillow method was that one, you put your head in your pillow and you try to listen like 8 hours of learning French for you when you sleep, then it would be a F tier, definitely. It doesn't change much from the language exchange. I've actually put it here because I thought the name was funny and I was surprised to know this actually exists. But yeah, I think that was a good one. Connecting with people will, for me, always be the best way to learn a language. We have the language exchange and the pillow method in the S tier, AI conversation partner, native content, spaced repetition, one-on-one tutor, and extensive reading in A tier, comprehensible input, speaking day one, audio guided learning and shadowing in B tier, gamified app and language challenges in C tier, move to the country in D tier, and grammar translation in F tier. I really hope this tier list helped you somehow. If you didn't know some of these techniques or methods, maybe you could try them. Don't forget that the best method is the one that works better for you. This is not supposed to be a universal truth. It's more like my opinion with the research I did and the experience I have with learning languages. I would love for you to comment what you would change in this tier list and why. Oh, it just ended the battery of my light. So I really think it's time to say goodbye. Thank you so much if you watched it till here. Don't forget to download Tandem with the link here in the description below. Subscribe to see the next videos, and also let me know what's the next tier list you want to see here in Tandem's channel. Bye bye!